I'm Bill Zebub. I'm interviewing
KJ Hopkins.
And the reason I'm interviewing him is because I've made fun of a lot of things in scienceless fiction, and it's time for somebody to make fun of either me or the movie back, but also to explain what the real reaction is from one person who's not white, because we want to make sure to explain that you don't represent everybody who's non-white.
Yeah, pretty much.
Unabashed opinion.
Unabashed opinion. When I first was watching it, it was interesting. Then, as time went on, it almost made me want to take you into the trunk of my car, take you to Port Newark, give you cement shoes, and take you on a long walk off a short pier. But it was a very funny movie, surprisingly.
Would you like to nitpick on some of the things that you thought shouldn't have been in there, or that actually really disgusted or offended you?
One of the things that kind of made me stand back was the Never Niggerland, or was it Never Niggerville? That was pretty much just like, oh, and the clown. Oh my God, the clown. The clown was such an interesting character. I believe his name is Jeremy. He just goes off on tangents, especially about the 12 days of Christmas. It's only one day, and I'm like, it's like, there's no black Santa Claus. It's like, well, everybody knows there's no black Santa Claus. They're just trying to be politically correct for once. But it was an interesting experience, especially when I was at the film premiere, and there was like two other black guys there, and I'm just looking at their expressions. I'm like, dude, they're trying to get to you. That's the point. Take it like a man. I could see the point of trying to get to making fun of racism in a totally different way. It was just very borderline there. But it was, you kept me in my seat. That's one good point. I don't like leaving in the middle of a movie. I like to see the entire context, because you could probably miss something at the end that kind of makes sense, that kind of bring to light why everything was done the way it was. Like in scienceless fiction, as it went on, you see all the Asians they sent out all of a sudden started turning against the guy that sent them out. And it's like the racism reversed on itself. And that added to it. And I can respect that. Getting to there was a really hard drive, though.
Right. I've made the mistake in other movies where I really wanted to hammer in my criticism of something. Mm-hmm. And in scienceless fiction, I'm not apologizing. If people can't understand that I was making fun of conformity and political correctness, that's my fault as a director. I don't want to say that people have problems comprehending, but until you get to the end of this movie, you're not going to know that that's the message, right?
Oh yeah, you got a long way to go when you watch this movie. I mean, I think I've never seen a movie that said the word nigger so many times in my life. I showed it to a friend recently, and he couldn't get through 5 minutes. And he looked at me, and it's like, I don't know if I should laugh or be offended, because you're right next to me.
When you watched it again, did anything else come at you? Because it's dense with information.
Oh, it's, as I was watching it, because I just watched it again a few days ago, and I was going through the movie, especially about the part with Hitler, and I'm watching how everything plays out. It was not so much I missed too much. It just made it clearer. As the movie goes along, it's like it's basically a story of misinformation being propelled onto people, and people buying it up, and yet they're the ones that keep on saying, "Oh, you got misinformation from over here." So it became a concept of who's giving the right information, who's not giving the right information, and it was a hard drive. I had a hard time through it, trust me. But overall, I understood the fact that it was making fun of people who make fun of other people for other reasons. And it was a challenging movie. It's going to be a hard sell overall, because most people don't last that long.
Yeah, as you have experienced, a lot of people walk out before the last message, but I didn't want to be like the Big Bang Theory, where or other mainstream comedies where as soon as the slightest joke is made, they sugarcoat it with either a cop-out thing where one character says, "Oh, that's so racist, dude." Then why the fuck did you say it? You know, so was the racial stuff in this movie important for the message, or did I not know when to stop when the point was already made and I went too far?
I'm going to say that you not only didn't stop, you ran, you jumped a few hurdles, you killed a killer whale, dragged it to the beach, then laughed, and then kept running. But you made your point, nevertheless. They say there's a point to stop to keep good taste, but I'm not the one for good taste, so I can appreciate understanding being a dead horse.
How do you feel about an insulting joke immediately being sugarcoated? Would you prefer to watch that or just an unapologetic remark? Because a lot of the things that were said in the movie, maybe sheltered people don't know, but racist people talk like that.
Oh, God, yes. Oh, yes. I lived in Georgia for a while. People really do talk like that. I mean, talk about nigger and coon and every other word and just not apologize. And half my family is like that. So, sugarcoating, nothing wrong with sugarcoating if that's what you really feel. If you're doing it just not to look like the bad guy, then you're a dick. But
Yep.
Thank
you.
There's a difference between sugarcoating because you honestly feel that, yeah, it's going a little over the top, or you're sugarcoating it because you just don't want to look like the bad guy.
Would you say that science-less fiction, in your history of watching movies, is
Yeah.
the most offensive thing you've ever seen in your life?
That one really, really, really went to the top of the tier. I mean, here's the bar that was set before, and then you jumped the shark. Really. It's like, you really went out. I mean, I told my friends, like, I never heard the word nigger used so many times in one movie. And I was counting, and it was like, I was seeing, like, nigger used 5 times per minute at one point.
If I may ask, what is that word to you, and has it been blown out of proportion?
I think the best term for what that word is old. It's an old, very old term that used to be used for saying stupid person, and then they associate it to blacks because they like to call black people stupid back in the time. And the word now is now overly used in the streets, saying my nigga, or kind of saying to my brother. It's like, I think they try to desensitize it, but the problem is not the word. The problem is the chips on people's shoulders.
Yeah, it's an easy way to get you back. Like if you're in an argument, that word can be used. And I also say that the word racist is the same way, because when I even said it in science fiction, if that word is used, all of a sudden the person's an idiot, and whatever he says you can't take seriously. But hatred is not in the word; it's in the tone. Because you must have been complimented fakely or given a backhanded compliment in your life. Those words were nice, they were acceptable, but they were hostile. Whereas, you know, I personally think that if a person can't use that word, I don't trust them. You know, I don't mean.
I wouldn't take it that far. Honestly, it's like
the thing is, if you have nothing to hide, you're not going to be afraid to say that word. I mean, you're not going to say it hatefully, but just saying the word when someone can't do it, I question why. When you first saw the movie, you didn't know who I was.
Yeah.
You must have made judgments about what my personality is like, what my intentions are like. Did that change? Well, first of all, what do you think?
What did I think of you when I first met you?
Yeah, or when you first saw the movie.
When I first saw the movie, I'm like, this guy just really, really, really wants to get his ass beaten by some black people sooner or later. I don't know, maybe it's a fetish. I don't know. It's, but when I talked to you, I was like, you were trying to express a point, and when someone's a racist, generally, they don't look you in the eye. They don't try to look in the eye because you're below them. You looked me in the eye, and I was like, okay, this guy is not automatic racist. he might have some jadedness to him, but not racist. But as I spoke to you, you seemed like a pretty okay guy. Just a very, very sarcastic sense of humor. A level Poseidon. But you seem an okay guy, and you seem an okay guy right now. And as I watch other movies, I could tell you just like making fun of every little thing, and I can respect that.
Yeah, so that was my point. You've seen other movies of mine, so you know that I go after everything.
Oh, you go after everything.
It's okay to make fun of someone who's black, who's being an idiot, but I defy you to find a white person who would do it. 'Cause a white person would be afraid, whereas, you know, someone's acting like an idiot, you call them an idiot, black, white, or whatever, right? But
yeah,
seriously, you know, in this time of political correctness, that people won't do that.
well, yeah, it's a really sad time in America, because everybody has to walk on tippy toes for everything, and it's like you can't just be yourself and express yourself and not people just take it for what it is, instead of saying, "Oh, you're going against my entire race. You are committing genocide against my people with your words," and I see it all the time, and it's like, God damn, take an enema.
This movie, I told the powers that be, not the white powers that be, I told the powers that be,
as compared to black powers that be,
not to market this as just
because Lord knows Oprah would be on your ass.
Yeah. Well, in the past, I tried to get in trouble with my racial humor, and I actually sent Oprah one of my movies where I'm in blackface, but I don't think she opens up her own mail. So I would have gladly been torn apart on network TV. Yeah. But so whenever an artist says like I'm censored or whatever, I don't believe it, because I tried very hard to get in trouble and I can't. But getting back to the powers that be, I said, don't try to market this as you'll find out what it is when you see it. It really has to say on the cover that it's a super offensive movie.
And it is.
But I also tell people that if my movies actually were what you think they are, if they were white power or something like that, I wouldn't have distribution. You know, so it's in there, but were there messages in the movie that redeemed the movie that you didn't see the first time around because you were mad?
Messages I didn't see.
That sort of let you know that this is the intention of the movie.
Well, there were many points. I mean, the talking cockroach was a nice touch. As saying, talking about how black people ruin everything and all that stuff. And it's like, changing history, there's a certain point where you could change history and people might believe it, and the point where it's just changing history and it is just kind of like, I guess, Beetlejuice on crack. So, yeah, I understand about a third of the way in the movie how it was making fun of the concept, and you got to understand it more as the characters that they sent down to do these away missions started changing after after all that lecture of how the blacks were come from the jungle and they come from monkeys and they have such unique, so little brain power they can't even speak proper language. They had to learn it from other people. You understood just how far off the beaten path some of these people are, and you understand it was just spoon-fed to them. So, and as it went on, you saw the people also change. So it's kind of like an evolution throughout the movie of the characters going from extremely racist to more sympathetic and more understanding and more accepting. The clown costume was the depiction of, from the very beginning, from the headmaster that was setting all the people down to the way people that was in the clown costume to your character that was in the kind of super clown suit, and it was playing how they said these rhetorics and they were looking stupid.
Yeah, so the point is that these are not Hollywood handsome people saying vile things. These are deeply flawed people saying flawed things.
Yes.
What I want to wrap up before is that I need the packaging to state that this is an offensive movie, but the intention was not to offend. It was to criticize political correctness and conformity. I'd like you to tell people that even you got really mad the first time, but then something changed.
I got so mad. I was staring. I was like, I need more alcohol. I need alcohol for this. It's a really, I'm going to be honest with you guys. It's a really hard movie to get through. And the first time you watch it, you're just going to be so annoyed and so full of hate. And if you had hair, you might pull it out. Well, fortunately, I don't have it. So, but if you get through it, you can see some of the messages. I'm not going to say the hate ever going to go away. It's going to be a dirty shame in your face. But you'll have a better understanding behind the concept. And that's what it takes. Because it's easy to get offended. You're going to get offended a lot in life. But if you're going to take every offense to heart and not really look at the whole picture, you're going to be fucked.
All right, so let's get to the more joyous side of life.
Okay.
Would you like to talk about what you do? You're an actor. Talk about that.
Yeah, I do some extra work acting. You can find me at facebook.com/KJ Hopkins. I also do some character acting with special effects makeup. I have a character called Helion. You'll see him at different conventions. And a top hat and red face. And you'll find him on facebook.com/Helion. I'm also a musician, and I've been a musician for a better part of, 17 years in different projects. My current project is called Pretty in Velvet. And you can find me at www.prettyinvelvet.com or Facebook at facebook.com/Pretty in Velvet. But it's been a great experience. I had to thank Genevieve Rossi for getting me into the biz a year or so ago and giving me a great experience of doing extra bits. You could probably see me in the In Fear Of series in season 2. And it's been a fantastic experience doing the acting as long as the special effects and makeup I'm doing.
Well, I wanted you to slate, as they say,
Okay.
for people to be able to contact you and research you, that you're actually a real person, that you haven't been paid to say any of the things that you paid. And again, not to generalize your opinion to anybody else, they're just your own. But there are people who have attacked me through the years, not physically, because they don't show their faces. They anonymously attack me, but they're all white people who probably have never even met a black person in real life. So this is for them. Wouldn't you say that that's one nice thing that you could say about me, that I make a movie like this, but then I show my face?
Yeah, it's important. It's like you see a lot of people make very offensive movies or very offensive comments and try to hide behind the internet and everything else. He actually comes out and actually speaks to you directly, and you have the opportunity to say, "Okay, let's talk," or to say, "I'm going to body slam you right now through this floor," and you know what? It takes courage to do something like that. Takes balls, takes moxie, and maybe it's a little bit of stupidity. A lot stupidity. And but at least he's out there. At least he's expressing his opinion and not afraid for what people think.